It's time now for us to welcome in the Hall of Famer. It's the Hawk, number 8, Andre Dawson. And Andre, thanks so much for stopping by Cubs Live. Always a pleasure to have you on the set here alongside Doug and myself. And obviously, 4 big ones in the crosshairs with the Cincinnati Reds. When you're taking a look at everything this team's been able to do, winners of 8 of the last 9, you have to like the momentum that they've showed. Yeah,
and it's good to have that momentum and bring it home. They went through a stretch where they didn't play so well at home. Then they kind of corrected that, I think, the last series against the Cardinals. And then, of course, you know, they went on to put together that win streak. So to bring that home and bring that energy home, and you got your own fans now that you're playing before, it's crucial. Like you say, this is a critical series, and hopefully they can continue to feed off that energy.
Yeah, it's always sweet to get wins versus the St. Louis Cardinals. They've won 6 of the last 7, and we talked about it on the show yesterday, how hard it is to sweep a team in 4 games in their own ballpark. That's what we saw yesterday against St. Louis, but you have to love the way that the momentum is going, and the Cubs out there making moves with them being buyers, that's always a thumbs up.
Yeah, and these guys, you know, they're playing great. Obviously, it was always there. It was just a matter of, okay, let's, you know, get some things corrected and play the game the way, you know, we're built. And that's what they've been doing.
Well, Hawk, your MVP season, it goes down in baseball legend that you basically signed the blank check, right? You said, I'm playing, I'm betting on myself. How important is it this time of year where you talk about a team that can bet on themselves?
Well, they know what their makeup is. And I think we knew all along, management that is, they knew there's not a whole lot of corrections that needed to be made. It's just if you can add an intricate piece here and there that can help you get where you need to be. Not necessarily where you want to be, but where you need to be going forward. You got a couple of months left. And like they've been playing well, and like I say, that energy, if it can carry over, then, you know, a lot of things can happen for you from a positive perspective.
We've seen Cody Bellinger, everything he's been able to do. He's putting up MVP numbers. We know that he was an MVP in 2019 with the Los Angeles Dodgers, but to see him come here to the Chicago Cubs, leaving the West Coast and just reinvigorate his career, it has to be a feather in the cap, not only for him, but for David Ross and the organization in general. Would you agree?
I agree. I knew that once he got here, he would like it.
Yeah.
And I've seen that from players, obviously, in the past. But he's a guy that he, you know, had some injuries over the course of the last couple of seasons, last year in particular, and it didn't pan out for him the way he would have liked to. And, you know, being a free agent that believed in himself, and he just wanted to, I think, get somewhere where he could get his feet underneath him again and go out and just play the game. And I'm convinced that when he stepped foot in Wrigley Field, he was going to enjoy it, and that's what he appears to be doing.
Well, Hawk, you know, with your experience and then the times that you play, and we actually played against each other somewhere in there, right? Which is amazing.
A little bit.
How do you evaluate the game today? You look at the Cubs today with sort of a new metrics, a new way to look at talent. What do your eyes see about now? You're looking at on-base percentage. You know, what's different about like this Cubs teams, and based on how you used to sort of look at the game as a player and before?
I like the makeup of the team. Obviously, a few years ago when, you know, they had their winning ways, the team was built a little bit different. I've never really been an advocate of trying to piece together basically an offensive ball club, because I think in that scenario you're just built to get through the season. You're going to experience problems during the postseason. I've always felt that speed, pitching, and defense can carry you a long ways. And that's why I like the way this lineup is constructed. And, yeah, the game has changed. That's where the game is today. That's obviously what most of the teams are doing. But I do feel that at some point it's going to reverse itself. Yeah, metrics, it has its place to a degree, but I'm of the mindset that, you know, body language, guys going out every day, knowing what you're going to get from what you see, and you know, rolling the dice and that way. And I just feel that, like I said, this team is, I like the way it's constructed. And I was watching Marquee maybe about an hour ago, and I saw where a trade was made. The Cubs made a trade, and that particular piece, I think, pretty much fits in also with the makeup of what this team is.
Yeah, Jeimer Candelario, that will be a huge piece moving forward, specifically as the Cubs look to try to capture the NL Central. But taking a look at the overall game in 2023, Hawk, bigger bases, pitch clock. If you go to first base or second base, you try to make a move, you only get 2 chances. And if you go over the third time and you don't get him, he gets the free base. How do you like all the new rules that baseball's implemented?
The only one I like, obviously, is the pitch clock.
Okay, quicker games, huh?
Yes, because that keeps you on your toes. And it's more fun and exciting, I think, in a sense, for the fans. I was never really an advocate of putting a guy on second base, the bigger bases. Yeah, you want to implement the running game once again, but you just, you construct your lineup around that. And there are a lot of things, once you start tinkering too much with the game, changing the game too much, it affects, in my opinion, the history of the game. But the pitch clock I do like. I was kind of tied between the DH because I just think, it takes a little bit from managing the game the way the game's supposed to be played, especially when it comes to postseason play. But now that it's in both leagues, if you're going to have it here, keep it here. But I do like the pitch clock.
Well, Hawk, the Reds are #1 in baseball in stolen bases, and now you're seeing guys get literally like running starts because of the pitch clock going down. Can you give me a sense of, like, you ran a little bit, someone like Ricky Henderson? I mean, what do you think they would do today with those rules?
I had a conversation with Ricky, and he said, well, if they had this, or if we had these rules in place when he was playing, he was still 200 bases. He said it didn't matter. He said, but, I just, I look at it in a sense. I understand, where we are today and, why they're trying to implement that, bring it back. Yes, it's fun and exciting. And that can be a strong point for a team. That can be something that could get a particular team where they need to be. Again, the teams that construct themselves with launch angle and exit velocity are only going to go so far. But like I said, I'm a big believer in, keeping the circle going, getting guys on base, running if you have that talent, that ability, and having some guys that can put the ball in play.
Yeah, you touched on speed and defense. That is how a team can be constructed to go out there and win ball games. And one guy that has speed and plays one heck of a brand of defense, Pete Crow Armstrong. PCA just got the promotion from Tennessee to Iowa. I know you've had the chance to get in contact with him down there at spring training. What does this young man bring to the table? How good can he be, Hawk?
Well, he has what it takes to play at this level, to be at the top, towards the middle of your lineup. An on-base guy, excellent defensively,
sure.
And he's just an all-around pure talent. And that's what you kind of look for, especially when you build yourself up the middle. And it's going to be exciting. I'm interested to see, I understand he's probably just getting promoted to AAA, so he's probably not that far away. Yeah. So it should be interesting and exciting to see once he gets here.
Well, Hawk, any other young players that kind of excite you watching the game today? I mean, Christopher Morel, guys that you see. Is there any particular players you're like, yeah, this is my brand of baseball?
Well, there are some young guys throughout, the course of the game itself. I was really high on Horner, and I felt that he was going to continue to steadily progress. Which he's done. I felt that his game was sort of not so much of bulking up and trying to hit the ball out of the ballpark, but staying up the middle. He had speed, and he's showing that out on the base paths. I follow some individuals who still haven't, probably in their own right, gotten to where they want to be in this organization. But there are other ball players and other teams that I've kind of paid a little bit of attention to over the last few years. Acuna, I really like, who's over in Atlanta, and from the very first day I saw him. And the only thing with him was, grasping the ability that he had and staying hungry, and not being one of those guys come up, have some success, and then just be content. He continues to get better, and he's one of the more interesting guys that I kind of keep an eye on.
Yeah, Ronald Acuna Jr. and the Braves are right after this 4-pack with the Cincinnati Reds. And real quick, Hawk, before we get you out of here, how important are these next 4, not only for team and their morale, but for the division?
Well, the teams in front of you are the teams you got to focus on. You can only catch one at a time. So you're playing these next 4 games at home. That's the team that's in front of you. You hopefully have a good series here, and then you look for what's next down the road. This is a not only crucial 4 games coming up, but critical week in a sense, and it can either break you or it can make you. So good thing about it is you're playing at home, so just try to fare well as you're amongst your own fans.
Yeah, trailing Cincinnati by 4 with a 4 head-to-head versus the Reds. It's going to be a fun 4-pack. Andre Dawson, always a pleasure seeing you. Maybe they'll channel their inner MVP and go out there and sweep the Reds. That would be nice, right?
That would be great.